Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Stellenbosch. I'm based in Stellenbosch in the Western Cape. I will be representing the USB University and other universities. And this is our team. We have Diane, we have Wasima, and Juan. So basically, just to give an overview about the topic that was given to us about building resilience around the 5 topics that were chosen, we chose drought. And then we further decided to say that the drought, because it has a various impact on the communities, because you find there are privileged communities and underprivileged communities. So we chose an informal settlement, and we also chose access to water, just to tailor down the topic and have a key focal area to address the issue. As you can see on the first slide in front of you, that about 2 billion, which makes 26% of the people globally, do not have access to water, and 46% of people do not have safety to sanitation water. With that being said, in 2025, there is likely to have an increase of 13% of water consumption. In low, middle, and income countries, 38% of the healthcare facilities lack improved water sources. Water across the globe is a serious issue, and it's been an ongoing issue. Hence, we decided as a team that we're going to focus on water and the effect. And we further went down to say, let's find a particular location that has an water issue. So we chose an informal settlement. Informal settlements are areas that are always underprivileged. They are stricken by poverty, and most of the time, these are areas that are not infrastructure ready. This informal settlement, you also find that they have poor housing quality and insecure residential statuses. And these are the areas that are not forming part of the government agenda, and they are not on their priority list. As you can see the map there, the informal settlement is just located behind the Vrygrond location in the Western Cape, in Cape Town. Further, we went on to say, because we are focusing on an informal settlement, which this area has various issues, such as no access to electricity, no access to water, high rate of unemployment, and the last one is there is lack of access to healthcare, which these are the issues that the community of Xakabantu in the Western Cape are facing. The problem, when we visited the community, we found out that the area does not, the municipality does not provide water infrastructure in the area. The community members have to travel long distance just to have access to water, and they have no access to proper sanitation in the area. As you can see that on your left-hand side, the woman carrying water at the baby, carrying a baby at the back. And then downwards, the picture there depicts that when we visited the area, we found out that the members in the committee was established in 2016. They only were able to have water in that area last year in 2020 during COVID. So what the community decided to do, because of the government is not responding to their need and is not taking any initiative, they take the initiative amongst themselves, and they installed their water. However, what the issue with this installation is that they were not properly installed. So what we are saying is that there is water in the area. It's just a matter of putting proper infrastructure and tanks in place to ensure that the entire community has access to water. The big question is, how do we get this into the government policy agenda? As I've mentioned earlier on, that informal settlements across the country, specifically in South Africa, they are not on the priority list. And the government, because of these are areas that have been occupied illegally, because people migrate from other areas to areas looking for better places, looking for better opportunities, and they find themselves just land grabbing vacant land. These are the stakeholders that we are calling upon to help us push and really ensure the government that responds to the need, because of already, like I mentioned on my first slide, that water is a global issue. And with that being said, that means that local government and NGOs need to create initiative that speaks and responds to the water. The World Bank will come in as a financier to assist us on the long-term one. You'll see it on our presentation that we have categorized our solutions into long-term and medium-term. And what we are trying to do and hope to achieve with this presentation is to give hope to the community of Xakabantu. Research proves that one of the ladies, when we visited.
Hey, Tibogo, can you speak up a little bit? I think there's a tiny bit of background noise. You're doing wonderful. Just speak up a little bit louder.
Okay, so can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. If you just speak a little louder, that would be wonderful.
Okay, great. Proof research, when we visited the location, one of the residents unpacked her issues that she has to wake up. Remember, I mentioned earlier on that the community was able to install water last year in 2020, and they did this as the community, so without assistance from the government. So what happened is, because of the pressure and improper installation of the water, the pressure of the water is very slow. So one lady has to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning just for them to go get water, because when it reaches a certain time, there is a cutoff of water. The other one, the issue that we also mentioned, was that it takes an hour just to fill 120 liter per community member. You can see the picture there with the hose pipe that one of the resident lady mentioned, that that's how slow the water is, because of now the pressure has subsided, especially during the day. With our solutions, so we have decided that because of this is an area, like we said at the beginning of the presentation, that they are not infrastructure ready. However, that we can attest and confirm that the community does have water, because of the community members, they installed their temporarily water supplies just as a short-term supply for them. So what we're going to do, we're going to install 2 big water tanks in the community that is going to supply water to the community. And also we're going to make use of the solar panel. So I know that we are addressing water, but the advantage part of this is that we'll be killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So the solar panel will be used as a way, as it generates the water, it will be supplying the community with the electricity, while the community also is receiving water. We have categorized our solutions into 2 phases. Number 1, phase 1 is without the government support. Number 2 is with the government support. And as we have said, that the benefit of this is because the community is going to have water 24/7, 7 days a week, and then there's going to be sustainable electricity across the entire community. Given the cost of the solutions that we have provided, you can see on the expected cost that the first phase and the second phase is divided into without the community, without the municipality, and with the municipality. Phase 1 will cost us approximately $15 and with phase 2, that's where the municipality now, because we have to ask permits and we have to get permission from the community, from the municipality, to make drilling bores so that we extract water from the ground. So with that incorporated, the cost will be $19 US. The advantage part about this is that, and the cost per community member is $34 US dollar. So it's way cheap how we were able to work around it. Just to also to allude on the water supply type, water tax supply is because currently the municipality does not have the resources. So with the municipality in coming on board, we'll be able to really solve the problem. Just to give high level, this is the community that is very living under poor, extreme poverty condition, and they do not have access. Ladies and gentlemen, let me bring this to your attention. This community, how they are using to, what struck me when we visited the community was that the way they are fighting crime. The community is able to formulate their own crime prevention. And what they do is that they pay those young people to ensure that they buy their necessities such as toiletry and the things that they need on a daily basis. There is a saying that without justice, with that being said, we just like to say thank you for HUMLOG for arranging this platform. And this was a really, really great experience. We hope that we're going to open the floor to the questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am now going to open the floor to the judges to ask questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think it was really refreshing to see that you went to the community as well and really found out what their issues were and how they are dealing with them. I do have a question to start it off with, but I know that every single one of us has lots of questions all the time. So maybe if I just start with this, like you have the setting of droughts, and of course that is a very pressing question, but your solution is to basically take water from groundwater. Now, how does the drought itself impact on the groundwater supplies and then rainwater supplies, and how do you see the interplay with those, and how would you address that?
Okay, I can answer for our group. So what the city, so if you guys all remember, in 2018, the Western Cape had a huge drought problem to the point where we were going to enter day zero in terms of water. But what the municipality then did is they did a survey of the underground aquifers within the area and the underutilized resources, and also created water sanitation, water harvesting at the ocean. And this area is actually within 5 kilometers of the sea. So with the municipality and with the infrastructure part of it, we're able to utilize those innovative solutions the municipality is implementing to solve the drought situation within the Western Cape. So I think our solution, with the help of the municipality, could actually be quite sustainable.
Okay, I think I'm going to follow up on that to make sure I'm clear on it. There is within the municipality a water infrastructure. It's just not getting to this particular community. So part of your projection is to tap into the municipal water supply system to get it over here. Am I hearing that correctly?
That is the long-term plan, because currently within the area that surrounds this area, there is water infrastructure, but the area in particular is not on the municipality's agenda in terms of providing infrastructure. And the capacity to be able to provide short-term infrastructure is a problem for the city, for the municipality. So the long-term solution would actually be for the community to tap into the existing municipal infrastructure to be able to provide a more sustainable solution.
Okay, so in the interim, we're going to use these tanks, catch rainwater, and also are we planning to drill drilled down so that we can pump the water out?
That's correct.
Gotcha. Understood.
I'd like to ask a question on a somewhat similar line in terms of the phase 2 strategies that would encompass involving the municipalities. Do you have any concerns about the municipalities looking to monetize these efforts at all that may result in some additional cost to the communities since they would be expanding their outreach to an area that they haven't been able to do thus far?
May you please repeat the question for me?
Yes, is there any concern that the municipalities in this phase 2 effort may be looking to receive additional funds from the community since their costs and their span would have to reach further in order to support this community's efforts, since I suspect that's been part of their limitations thus far?
So, Wasima, would you like to chip in or should I tackle this one?
Okay, so I probably would want to understand the question quickly. So you're asking whether or not you would then charge levies or fees to the community for them to able to get the services in. So I think with the community, well, for the phase 2 that you're speaking of, there is funds for underprivileged communities, and I think the government has these different initiatives for which they have funds available, and they don't really have to then ask the community to pay for what they're receiving. The problem, I think, on the side is to get the community and this issue onto the priority list so that we can then tap into that funds. So I don't expect any requests from the community to fund any of the infrastructure that the government is providing. It's a matter of getting them onto the priority list so that they can tap into that funds that's available to uplift communities and provide necessary basic needs to the country. Tebogo, I don't know if you want to add.
Yes, just to echo on what Asima said, let me quickly go back. I'm not presenting, I'm just projecting. This, like one of the stakeholders that I mentioned during the presentation, the World Bank. We know that the World Bank also, as a big body, does provide financial assistance to countries, and where there is, especially when the need speaks, because of this is a need that speaks to the sustainable, the SDG is a global agenda. So we will need, hence we are calling on global bodies to assist, especially with funding, because these are the communities that are living in extreme poverty, and most of them, they are unemployed. So like Wasima said, it wouldn't be viable, or it would make sense to ask someone who is poor to pay for something that is as basic as water. Thank you.
Thank you for the great presentation. My question is slightly different, and it's about the idea that informal settlements are partially a political issue. So maybe the community of Xakabantu doesn't get much help because there's a sort of political incentive to make sure that they don't get too comfortable there. So I wondered what the real risk is of the government not engaging to make their long-term living conditions bearable. And if you have a backup plan for the event that you're not able to convince them otherwise, in as far as the stance of not helping the community is concerned, assuming it's a political problem.
I can answer that. So yes, there is a bit of a political problem in terms of these people have come to an area where they're not supposed to occupy. So our phase 1 is actually something that can be sustained for a longer term than just sort of within 3 to 5 year range. And if we are getting boreholes, obviously that is something that, you know, you can actually have more than one within the area. So that plan can actually last for a longer term than just the 3 to 5 years. Yeah, so that's sort of how we can kind of mitigate that, that the municipality might not immediately want to buy into supporting the community.
Thank you.
So jumping in, I have two questions. First of all, thank you for your presentation. But I have a, you obviously met with some of the residents, but I wonder whether the community is organized at the community level already. And so can you tell us more about that? Or would you see that particular project as a means to empower the community to reach first, to obviously do things about water, but maybe to do other things for its residents? And then my second question is, you are a team of students from 2 different continents. So I'd like you to tell us how, I'm sure there were challenges in working together, but also what were the pluses? What did you learn from each other across the 2 continents and the 2 different schools?
Yes, thank you very much for the question. I believe Teo can answer the first one, and I can answer the second one, considering that I'm the only student from Colombia in the group. So Teo, if you can, please go ahead.
You're on mute.
You're unmute.
Yeah.
My apologies, I didn't see them. When I visited the community, it is structured. They have leaders, and what was interesting to find out about the community is how united they are, despite the conditions and the circumstances they face. Like what struck me is that, like I mentioned, they came up with the crime prevention, because this, you know, with informal settlement, there is a lot of things that happen, such as women are killed, women are raped, children get missing. But this community decided to say that we're not going to tolerate any form of violence or criminality, and they formed what they called the neighborhood watch. This is a community that is poor, 1, 2. They don't have stable income. They are job hopping from one job to the other, but they are still able to take 20 rand. For me and you, 20 rand might be nothing, but to them it means so much that they take out the 20 rand and they contribute as an entire community, and then they pay young people in the community who are watching over the community during the day and at night. So it was a very interesting visit to the community, and to see how the community is able to come together and really find solution, and not saying we're waiting on the government, because it's something else to find people sitting and just waiting on the government and complaining. And it's another thing when you find a community, despite of the situation and the circumstances they find in, going forward and trying to find solution, how they can best further improve their lifestyle. And one tragedy happened that they shared when I visited the community, was that one disabled child burned in a shed, and the ambulance couldn't get on time, the fire brigade couldn't get on time. So the community was able to come together and assist that family to bury the child. For me, what stood out from the visit was the humanity, the love, the caring that I received from the community. And I remember when I left and I asked the question, what would you like me to report back to? And they said, one lady said, this is the lady, let me quickly share a picture. This lady, the one with a white face, she said that just go out to the world and tell our story. That was it. We would expect someone to say that we want you to bring solutions, we want you to bring water because of it's an area. But she only just said, go out to the world and share our story. This is our reality. Thank you.
Thank you. And
Yes,
I believe there's one more question in the chat. Oh, sorry, Juan Pablo, you were going to answer the second one of that.
Yes, so regarding the second question, sorry for not showing my face, but it's still very early here. So regarding the second question, it was really interesting to work with a team from South Africa, really from Colombia. It was really interesting to see basically similar issues in a different cultural context. And the good thing about working together was that we were able to come together and basically cross-pollinate basically solutions between the two continents, so to speak. So I could bring my expertise and potential solutions implemented here for similar water scarcity issues here in Colombia, and to pass them on to South Africa to see how we can create the best solution for the community. So it was a really interesting exercise and I really enjoyed it.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And then if we could quickly just address that final question regarding the community, does the community have a formal and informal governance? I don't know, Pete, if you want to say anything more on that real quick.
No, I was just in my mind, I'm wondering, because you made incredible points about, how tight the community is and how integrated everybody is and the love. So I was wondering, is there like a formal or informal hierarchy leadership within the community?
Thank you for the question, Peter. So let me, what the community does have a leader. The lady that you see with the mask on her face, she's one of the leaders for the community. She is not politically affiliated. She shared her story in one of the presentation when I asked her as to why her name is Tandu. I asked her to say, as young people, especially in areas like this, we don't see the need to serve the people. And she said to me, I do this because I love it and I want to make a difference. So they do have a structural leader in the community, non-political affiliated. It's just a group of young people who are ensuring that they assist the community where they can.
Thank you so much, all of you on Team USV and Team Los Andes. We echo, I think everyone, you did a wonderful job and amazing work. And just to let you know, I will be in touch regarding your mentoring session with one or a couple of our judges. And we will have the final announcement of the winning team on November 17th. I'll make sure that all of you are invited. In the meantime, judges, if you want to hop on over to the next meeting, we will talk to you later. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.